How's it going, folks? And welcome back to another exciting edition of We'll Make Stuff Out of Wood. And today we're starting out on the tractor with a piece of spalted oak. Yes, we're going to turn that into our new epoxy project, which will be very exciting. I've got an interesting idea. I was watching, or I saw on Facebook, I think the guy's name was David. Can't remember his surname, sorry about that. He did a project with a new product. It's like a black sand inlay, so I thought I'd have a go at that. Obviously I didn't buy the actual new project, the new product even. I decided to make everything myself. So we're starting out on the tractor saw and the bandsaw, cutting this piece of oak to approximately 11.5 inches. Because this has got to go in my bucket. Alright, so we've done that now, and we're going to just make it flat and make it round and give it a little bit of a taper so it fits nicely in the bucket. So we're using the 4040 bowl gouge, 1400 RPM. Alright, so that's made it flat. Some lovely spalting in this oak, but there's also a lot of cracks, so we're going to have to fill them. And we're going to fill them entirely with clear epoxy rather than putting any colour in today, so there won't be any we're not going to take any of the character away from the oak. We're using clear epoxy just to keep all the natural beauty of that spalted oak. Alrighty, so we've got it flat, we've got it round, and now we need to make a recess in the rim. And this is where our inlay material and the majority of our epoxy is going to go. Now I need to make this quite deep, and the reason for that will become evident shortly. I need to make it about 1 inch deep, and I just use the parting tool for this. Just nibbling away at it. Okay, here comes the black sand. And what I'm going for here is a volcanic beach. Maybe in prehistory, where all these magical crystals were laying around all over the place from various volcanic eruptions. So I've got some polished stones and I've got some quartz crystals, and we're just going to lay them arbitrarily around in the rim. You can see I've marked where my center point is, because that's no doubt going to end up full of epoxy, and I want to be able to see that for when I turn the blank round. So no real pattern to it, we're just going to chuck them stones in there and hope it looks good when it comes out of the pressure pot. That's the plan. And there we go. I've put a little screw in the center so I can move it around. And 2 lots of epoxy, there's 450ml in each pot. And I'm using Glass Cast 50, which is a 48-hour cure. And there it is. We'll see that in 2 or 3 days' time. So, on with the second project today. We've got an offcut of walnut that I've been storing because it's an interesting shape, and it's got some nice dark walnut in the center. So we are turning again 1400 RPM, 4040 bowl gouge, and we're going to make a thing. Definitely not going to be a useful bowl. More of an art piece just to show off the grain. So that piece is about 11 inches corner to corner. So that was a branch piece where the branch changed direction on me, and rather than put it in the firewood pile, I chopped it down the center and thought at some point I will make something out of that, and today is the day. So I'm trying not to touch the cut edges or the spiky edge. We're going to leave them into the piece. So we've got to flatten off the back. put a bit of a contour on it, and then we're going to use the small jaws to turn this piece. So I've got to make a 50mm or 2-inch mortise. So there I've just isolated a foot, and then in the centre we are going to put our mortise. And there we go with the skew chisel. Okay, on to sanding. And I sanded this piece all the way up to 800 grit. And I just put some Howard feed and wax on as a finish. No need for anything else on this piece, it's already pretty enough. Alright, it's flipped round and we've got to hollow it out. Not much hollowing to do on this one, as there's not much there to start with really, is there? Not much depth to the piece because the mortise is inset into the piece because of the foot we isolated off. So I'm going down just to below the level of the woodworm screw hole. Lovely multicoloured shavings coming off. We're turning mostly air up on the outside, and it's quite difficult to see where you're going. So what I like to do is stop the lathe, work out where my entry point's going to be, sort of hover my chisel over that point, and then start the lathe up and do it that way, especially when I'm very close to the outside. I didn't want to chop off that pointy bit. Alright, we're getting down to it. Just got the outsides to do. Now you can see roughly where I am in the camera, but in real life you can barely see where that entry point is. So you can see I'm just rubbing the bevel before I start the cut, just to make sure that I'm actually on the piece. Okay, all that's left to do now is remove that centre boss. And there you have it. On to sanding. And there it is, all the way up to 800 grit, and Howard feed and wax all round. Job's a good one. A nice little art piece. Not sure what you could use that for. Maybe you could balance a banana on it, I don't know. A tiny fruit bowl, or maybe just stand it on a shelf somewhere and appreciate its natural beauty. So I'll leave you as ever with the glamour shots. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, then hit the old subscribe button and give it a like and a comment and all that good stuff, and I'll see you soon with another video. Cheers folks.